clear to him that they were pursuing dishonest goals, like a secret conspiracy, and they were simply going to put him up for sale, like a commodity in a world of intrigue and betrayal. Their intention removal. The man was very frightened by this and could not understand who was standing in front of him. Well, the main character was calm and noticed that the man's gun began to shake. In turn, he tried with all his might to show that he didn't care and was calm. And then he completely ordered to open fire. Well, the guy had an idea of what to use to protect them. He used a move called the crane. It was the first time Wolf had ever seen such a technique, and everyone present had already run out of ammunition. And now the friends had a chance, but they had to try not to damage the stolen property. Rui easily dealt with his opponents and did not see them as a danger. And Charlotte helped him at this time, as always. She asked to leave someone for her. Their team worked really unitedly, and it brought results. Wolf was stunned by the successive attacks, as they protect each other's blind spots. And after some time, everyone present was lying unconscious. The man had no choice but to shoot at the standing guy. Wolf turned away at that time and did not notice the bullet flying at him. In a split second, she should have approached the guy. When he already noticed this, he was very scared and did not know what to do. Rui noticed this too and realized that he needed to do something. The main character began to approach the guy in order to help him. And a split second later, screams were heard in the building and blood flowed. Wolf was informed that his arrival had long been awaited and the meeting was eagerly awaited, as if a harbinger of a long-awaited event. This time he was clearly late. Time flowed through his fingers like grains of sand in an hourglass, and the moment of meeting turned into an incredibly slow wait. The wolf, burning with curiosity, could not understand the reason for his invitation, as a mysterious invitation, unraveled only by the slow revelation of riddles. He was led outside with a seductive hint of something mysterious, like a curtain rising before a mysterious performance in the evening light. The boys sought to demonstrate to their peers such a creature as the wolf, as if lifting the curtain on an amazing and monstrous world hidden in the shadows. Then, as if in an unkind dance of fate, guns were pointed at him, creating a tense moment, like a cinematic scene where a grim turn of events awaits resolution. For some unknown reason, Wolf was told that he was lucky, as if a mysterious happiness had seeped through the secret loops of fate, granting him unexpected good fortune. And at that moment, it became clear to him that they were pursuing dishonest goals, like a secret conspiracy, and they were simply going to put him up for sale, like a commodity in a world of intrigue and betrayal. Their intention filled him with disbelief like a foggy haze, and he could not realize that their plans were so permeated with darkness that it was difficult to believe in their reality. Subjected to shock, he gradually turned his inner anxious impulse into a whirlwind of anger, like a blazing fire after the extinction of an unknown bustle. With a mocking grin, the guys asked him if he really believed that he could be friends with people, as if to undermine his confidence in his own hopes. After what happened, Wolf finally decided that he would no longer trust people, as if swearing to himself to avoid such deceptions and betrayals in the future. But suddenly remembering how Rui saved him from a fatal bullet, he realized that even in the darkest moments, there is light, reconsidering his previous beliefs with new hope. Rui justified his action by explaining that to him, the wolf is the same as everyone else, and that he does not see any obstacles in the fact that the wolf is not a person. After all people, like fugitives in search of their essence, just like the wolf at the moment, strive to find their true path in this labyrinth of existence. Rui simply didn't want Wolf to become something he wasn't, because he understood that Wolf might seem rough and unapproachable on the outside, but on the inside he was kind and sensitive. When meeting with teachers and peers, Wolf became the target of discrimination, and he naturally did not like being the subject of insults and misunderstandings. Charlotte instantly ran up to the guy, eager to know if his friend was okay, as if showing concern in moments of uncertainty. Having invited the couple to relax, Wolf himself decided to show them something unusual, like a mysterious performance that was supposed to capture their imagination. Finally, he decided to show them his real self, not the mask under which he walks, but his true appearance as a wolf, as if revealing his soul to them. Literally a moment later, the guy and girl witnessed the real wolf, in his true appearance, as if revealing to them the secret of his true essence. Charlotte suggested that it was an atavism, giving the whole situation even more mystery, as if revealing unknown facets of not only the guy, but also nature itself. She heard about this more than once, as if revealing to her a new world of secrets and mysteries, which she had only briefly touched upon in her previous knowledge. Long ago, beast people had the amazing ability to change their appearance, as if resurrecting an ancient legend in their own incarnation. She had heard that nowadays, very few beastmen were born with such an ability, so this guy was one of those unique creatures that were legendary. All those who dared to harm the wolf deeply regretted it, for he easily surpassed their strength, as if leaving them helpless and disappointed. The bandits desperately tried to defend themselves from the guy's attack, putting all their strength into repelling his attacks, as if they were caught in a whirlwind of an unpredictable battle. Charlotte noticed that the wolf moved with amazing speed, like a ghostly sword flashing with lightning in the hands of an invisible warrior. Then the guy simply destroyed all the male guards, like a whirlwind of unstoppable force, sweeping away everything in its path. After this, Jackson began to call someone, as if a harbinger of new events developing an incredible intrigue. In his arsenal, as it turned out, there was an unusual ally weapon, a wise parrot, as an unusual ally in strategic intrigues. Wolf was surprised to discover that Jackson had such a rare weapon, as if he had encountered an unexpected secret in his arsenal. Jackson struggled to make the parrot fly because he was deeply frightened and could not cope with the task, as if faced with unexpected difficulties. The boy could not allow the man to do this, as if he felt a deep responsibility and felt that he had the burden of protecting someone who could not protect himself. Jackson realized that he would have to sacrifice some essence or substance, as if faced with a difficult choice for the sake of the greater good. At the final stage, she only said that someone should take charge of dealing with the guy, as if challenging him and forcing himself to take responsibility for resolving the situation. The initially ordinary and vague substance began to transform into some kind of monster, as if a monster with an uncertain threat was forming from the dark depths. Both of them found themselves in a state of bewilderment from what they saw, as if they were faced with something beyond their understanding and expectations. Jackson was not surprised that the guy was so scared, as if realizing that he was faced with something terrible and incomprehensible, which led to natural fear. It was a very rare representative of slugs, since it sucked objects into itself and increased in size, as if possessing properties unique among its species. Jackson didn't want to use this for Wolf's sake, but knew that it was his fault that he himself attacked him, as if causing the need for extreme measures. Wolf felt that he needed to catch up with the man before he could strike, as if realizing that now was the moment to take decisive action. At this time, he simply stood there, not posing any threat, as if remaining calm and peaceful, but only after some time did he finally make some movement, and it became clear that he was trying to grab the wolf, as if launching a surprise attack. Fortunately, the guy easily dodged this attack, as if showing brilliant dexterity and avoiding trouble. But the unconscious stranger found himself under attack, as if he had become an unfortunate accidental participant in what was happening. Something strange was happening in this bubble. The mucus began to absorb the stranger, as if plunging him into its unusual essence, causing mysterious changes. The mucus swallowed him up, as if plunging him into the unknown depths of his inner world, leaving behind only mysterious traces of what happened. When the enemy tried to capture Rui, Charlotte managed to save him in time, as if showing accuracy and determination in protecting her friend. The monster then began to attack the others present like a whirlwind of chaos and fear, causing a storm of struggle for survival in this incredible confrontation. They then realized that this A-rank monster was extremely dangerous, as if facing a force beyond their normal perception and resistance. If the wolf remains in this barn, he will be sucked in, as if emphasizing the inevitability of danger and the monster's insistence on absorption. He needed to leave, as if he were facing a growing threat that emphasized the urgency of his actions. The guy realized that he would have to figure out how to fight such a monster, as if he were faced with a task that required special understanding and skills. After all, even experienced adventurers fight in groups with such monsters, as if emphasizing the complexity and seriousness of the situation in which the guy found himself. But Rui asked his friends not to give up, because if he has not stopped now, it will only get worse, as if calling for decisive action in the face of the impending threat. Thanks to Charlotte's treatment, the guy was able to begin to move, as if coming to life under her caring hands and regaining his strength. Rui decided to use a technique called glaciation, as if turning to his unique abilities in the fight against the monster. And strangely enough, a real block of ice appeared around the monster, As if as a result of a magical combination of the efforts of Rui, Charlotte, and the guy, the icy appearance of the monster became more and more integral and massive, as if its essence was sealed in a cold shell. He, concentrating all his efforts, tried to get out of this ingenious trap, as if every movement became a test of will and endurance for him. To some extent, he managed to get out, and he attacked the defenseless and weak Rui at the moment, as if trying to use his instant freedom to counterattack. Charlotte couldn't just stand by and watch this. After all, she also needed to stand out as if she was taking drastic measures to help Rui at this critical moment. Then at some point it happened that the monster literally swallowed the entire barn, as if devouring its walls and ceiling, leaving only traces of its greedy presence. The wolf continued to insist that they need to escape before it was too late, as if sensing a growing threat in the space consumed by the monster. Well, the guy and Charlotte had a different opinion and began to fight the monster, as if they were determined not to give up in front of an incredible challenge that they had to overcome. The girl decided to use the heroic Sakura heart technique, as if summoning strength and determination comparable to the splendor of spring blossoms. Then, with all her determination, she was fully prepared to attack, as if preparing for an impressive and powerful charge towards the monster. She, framed by an atmosphere of mystery, conveyed that she trusted Rui with everything unspoken, expressing boundless trust and creating a whirlwind of mystery and expectation around herself. As if with a magic brushstroke, he wove into his assurances not only strong confidence, but also invisible threads of worry, creating an invisible thread that connected their hearts in an invisible dance of devotion and hope. The beast's monolith, under the power of an ice spell, disappeared under the cover of ice like a frozen mystery, giving the landscape a dark beauty in which the unknown secrets of history are hidden. There was disbelief in the wolf's eyes, as if he was still wandering in the shadows of doubt, not believing that this giant of time and fate really lay within them. They were left behind with the Ice Titan only to race after Jackson as if time was running out and their fate depended on every moment they lived. After this epic battle, Rui realized that his powers had not yet fully returned, as if the fire within him, although burning brightly, took time to flare up at full power again. Together with Charlotte, amid the echoes of the battle, they claimed that Jackson had gone far ahead, hidden in the shadows of distant horizons, as if finding him had become an impossible mission in the ocean of the night. Wolf, filled with confidence, assured that he could catch up with Jackson if he followed the scent, like a wolf scenting prey, opening the possibility of catching up with the fugitive in this hunt for the traitor. Showing an unprecedented sense of humor, the wolf asked with a smile if the guy was going to climb on him, as if playfully ignoring the shadow of uncertainty in the air. With a slight wink, Wolf noted that if the guy had decided to do this, it would have become a symbol of absolute trust, like an unusual gesture that warmed the coolness of the night with extraordinary friendship and trust. With sadness in his voice, Wolf noted that he could not yet fully trust all people, as if shadows of suspicion were still flickering in his eyes, filling his soul. Wolf, having weighed his experiences, realized that his characteristics were different from others, and this understanding accompanied him for a long time, as if being an integral part of his uniqueness in this world. With trepidation in his voice, Wolf, eager to avoid the impression of favor, asked for help rather than doing them a favor, as if the mixture of vulnerability and strength in his request gave the moment special depth. Determined, Charlotte decided to take responsibility for those consumed by the slug and set out to deal with Jackson as if she were an integral part of their destiny, filled with secrets and trials. With an unexpected burst of friendship, the boy climbed onto the shoulders of his comrade, and together they rushed forward like a whirlwind, in which strength and determination merged, filling the night with the ringing echo of their decisive procession. Using the bracelet Jackson found among the ruins of the capital, they deciphered the mysterious signs that opened the way forward for them, like a luminous thread leading through the dark labyrinths of the past. The bracelet was decorated with a large stone, and undoubtedly it was not just a treasure. By selling it along with the mysterious bird, they could receive a significant amount, as if exchanging the mysterious for material in this game of fate. He vowed unforgiveness, deciding that by reviving his gang, he was pursuing the goal of taking revenge on them for all their troubles, as if creating the shadow of a majestic vendetta in his destiny. The wolf, like a cunning hunter, caught the scent of a person and instantly set off in pursuit, as if dancing with the wind, where the smell became a thread leading him to a hidden goal. Informed that Jackson had already left the city, Wolf shared the information like the wind carrying the news of his departure, and embodied his determination to catch up with him in the night desert. Wolf, imbued with a premonition of future events, enthusiastically looked forward to the upcoming meeting, as if in a previously unraveled chapter of his adventure novel. With the agility of a predator, he easily began to climb the wall, like a shadow, slowly and silently, enveloping himself in the invisible veil of the night hunt. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from one side of the fence, like shadows crossing the line between light and dark, leaving behind the bustling world of the city. The wolf, standing on the new side of the city labyrinth, asked what they should do next, as if the starting point of the adventure now required a choice of direction. Rui insisted that they must attack Jackson without allowing him to escape, as if the strategy required decisive action to ensure that the moment of retaliation would not be lost. Using a refined strategy, Rui took advantage of the medium gravity, as if cunningly playing a game with gravity, to approach his goal with irresistible determination. Jackson was faced with a lack of understanding of what was happening, and the guy, enjoying the moment, mocked him as if he had mastered the secrets of their power. It was time to move on to the next stage of their plan, as if the puzzle pieces of an adventure were beginning to fit together, awaiting completion. After that, everything depended on the guy, as if he was a key player in their strategy, and all eyes were directed in his direction, waiting for his next moves. He began to rise in front of them, preparing for the next jump, as if there was a tense energy in the air, and the upcoming jump promised to change the course of events. With a series of worries and expectations, he soared into the air, performing the promised jump, as if they were caught up in a wave of action, carrying them into the next episode of this night's performance. With a mocking grin, the guy said that it seemed that they had not met for a long time, as if he was playing his own game and using a cunning move in his secret plan. Jackson, in amazement, could not understand how the guy managed to get into his place, as if the mysterious meeting had shrouded them in questions, cast a mantle of opaque mystery. Jackson tried in vain to pay off the guy, but he, being a principled man, insisted that he did not need the stolen things, as if refusing temptation in favor of his principles. Even when he began to offer him a woman as compensation, Jackson was aware that the guy remained unforgiving in his beliefs, as if warning him against a dark path. With pride and confidence, the guy declared that he was not interested in all these attempts to pay off, because he already had a loved one, as if protecting his world from alien interference. In response to these words, the guy's next step was to hit the man, as if expressing his adamant unwillingness to negotiate and emphasizing his determination in the language of physical force. Rui used a technique called golden shell, as if to reveal his mastery in battle and create a whirlwind of brilliance and elegance in the chaos of battle. The blow was so powerful that Jackson was thrown several meters into the air, as if becoming part of a temporary dance of force, where gravity succumbed to the force of his crushing blow. Thanks to this sudden turn of events, they were given the opportunity to relax, as if the shadow of tension gave way to calm, and the phase of their adventures paused for a moment. The main character politely asked the parrot if he could land, as if addressing an exotic companion with a question about the possibility of descending to Earth. Having landed, the guy immediately began to maneuver, calling his friend to look after the parrot, as if creating a picturesque picture of the interaction between the members of their difficult team. With surprise, it became clear that Wolf had managed to catch Jackson at the moment of his landing, as if by the magic of events, where dexterity and cunning wove an invisible network around the characters. The guy, evaluating every word with his eyes, asked if Rui trusted him, as if the issue of trust had become a key point in their relationship. With a smile, the main character joked that he was not entirely aware of what the guy was talking about, as if adding humor to their dialogue and softening the tension of the moment. Now, all that remained was to follow Charlotte, because she still continued her mission to save the thieves, as if opening new chapters of their adventurous journey. Noticing the man's bracelet, the protagonist somehow found it familiar, like a rush of long-forgotten memories calling to the secrets of his past. The wolf, turning to his friend, began to find out if anything unusual had happened. as if closely monitoring the well-being of the main character. Very little time passed, and they found themselves next to Charlotte, as if their paths had merged in a dance of destinies and adventures, trusting the course of events. During this time, Charlotte truly helped all the victims, as if her good deeds became an integral part of their struggle for justice and well-being. It is quite natural that at this moment the knights came, as if the personification of the defenders of justice, adding a share of mystery and nobility to their conspiracy. Now they were faced with the task of proving Wolf's innocence, as if the beginning of a new stage where truth and justice were again in the balance. This was perhaps the most difficult thing in their work, as if solving the mystery and protecting innocence required effort, will, and the combined strength of all forces. Yuri asked the knights to draw up a report on the damage caused, as if using their authority to assert the veracity of their position in a difficult situation. The guy expressed his strong indignation at what had happened, as if the fire in his eyes was burning with indignation, and his emotions spoke the language of protest and rejection. Yuri expressed contempt for the thieves, stating that even his stomach felt heavy in their presence, as if the words filled the air with condemnation and disgust. In addition, for some reason, the parrot also seemed to be alarmed and did not listen, as if sharing its anxiety with others. However, in the end, the parrot seemed to have found a common language with the guy and became friends, as if taming even the most rebellious birds with its charm. Wolf suggested that, apparently, the parrot expresses a desire to become his friend, as if unraveling the language of the birds and opening a new chapter in their adventurous union. In addition, it turned out that the guy is able to understand what the parrot is talking about, thanks to his ability called atavism, as if opening up new facets of mutual understanding for them. Since the guy was more an animal than a man, he could somehow understand the conversations of animals, as if an animal whisper sounded in his soul, revealing the mysterious world of wild nature. The guy decided to ask the manager if he could adopt a parrot, smoothly moving from mysterious languages to practical decisions in his life. The main character could not understand why he liked this parrot so much, as if the secret of his affection for his feathered friend remained unsolved. It seemed to Wolf that he knew the reason for this affection, as if secrets flashed in his eyes, far from the gaze of everyday life. Because the wolf feels extraordinary energy and strength in the parrot, incommensurate with its tiny body, as if incredible magic and power are hidden in this feathered creature. The wolf never understood why the main character always strives to help everyone around him, as if this riddle contained the mysterious essence of his soul, full of kindness and attention to others. He may have power now, but before he was completely helpless, as if solving the riddle of the transformation from vulnerability to strength in the inexplicable story of life. Previously, he was absolutely helpless, but one day he had teachers, like wise guides, who opened the path to potential and strength for him. He learned a lot from them, and most importantly, he learned kindness and love, so he decided to become someone who would give and not take away. The guy couldn't make out what his friend was talking about, as if another secret was unfolding in front of him in their relationship, requiring attention and understanding. Thus, he now passes on his knowledge and teaches others what he was taught, as if the chain of goodness and learning continues its incredible adventure. After these words, the guy, for an unknown reason, took a strange pose, as if magically joining a ritual that only he understood, adding mystery to the air around him. As it turned out, this was the pose of an animal lover, which symbolized complete obedience, as if the guy had internally connected with the wild nature and accepted its laws. The wolf admitted that he fell in love with the guy's spirit, as if his soul was so attractive and unique that even the beast could not resist this magic. He asked the guy to make him his escort, as if declaring his willingness to devote himself to service and care as a sign of devotion. Rui, of course, immediately began to dissuade the guy, claiming that this was a bad idea, as if foreseeing the difficulties and failures associated with this strange idea of Wolf. Wolf shared that he, too, is not against just being friends with the guy, as if trying to neutralize the tension and offer a compromise solution. But in the very depths of his soul, he still wants to serve him, as if an inner desire to overcome rational considerations and follow his feelings. Rui agreed to the guy's proposal, but added that, nevertheless, he would always address him as a friend, as if emphasizing that in their relationship, friendship is valued above all else. Charlotte was glad to see how the guys became friends, As if in their combined strength, she saw hope for a successful resolution of all the problems and trials that faced them. She asked her friend for forgiveness, suggesting that perhaps their friendship was related to discrimination against beastmen, as if feeling responsible for a possible misunderstanding. The cannibal sought to end discrimination, but died halfway. This work should have been completed by his heirs, but unfortunately, they did not have the necessary abilities, as if revealing a new layer of complex family stories. Charlotte, wanting to end discrimination, apologizes for the misunderstandings, realizing that her ancestors, focusing on their abilities, could not change the circumstances, and now everything depends on their heirs. The guy thanked Charlotte for thinking about his race, as if these words reflected gratitude for understanding and support in the fight against bias. As he began to explain that the problem was not just Charlotte's ancestors, but that his own race was partly to blame, the guy emphasized the importance of everyone's recognition and responsibility in order to make progress in solving the problem. He said that through their conversation, he realized the need to study each other's races more deeply, as if their communication had awakened a thirst for understanding and tolerance. Thus, he expressed the belief that just as he studied his race, people should also pay more attention to the study of the beastmen, as if offering a path to mutual understanding and rapprochement between the two different worlds. Charlotte assured that she would definitely try to promote this idea, as if expressing her readiness to take an active part in the process of rapprochement and mutual understanding between different races. After all, she was the granddaughter of a hero, and for her it was an obligation to keep her word, as if a hereditary call to honor and responsibility sounded in her vest. After these words, they shook hands, as if symbolizing agreement and a common path towards creating a more harmonious and understanding world. The guy was very nervous about Jackson, and was afraid that the knights would find out about him, as if the tension in his soul was reflected in concern for his safety and the secrets that could be revealed. The guy was extremely surprised when, turning around, he noticed a stranger behind him, as if the sudden appearance of a man had introduced an unexpected element into his daily life. The boy suddenly discovered that among his friends he was known as the Thorn, as a mysterious symbol that permeated his being and inspired mystery, like the wind on a cold night. After this, the mysterious stranger presented Jackson's dead head, like a dark artifact, keeping unknown secrets in its lifeless eyes, slowing down the flow of time around it. The mysterious guy could not understand his appearance, and the thought slipped into his thoughts that perhaps he had come with the intention of committing suicide. The moment the guy tried to escape, his plans were ruined. A mysterious stranger easily stopped him, as if controlling his every step in this dark game of fate. In addition to his promises, the stranger mercilessly, as if torn away from his own words, actually took his own life, leaving only a shadow of the past in his cold eyes. Having already accomplished a lot of things, it seemed reasonable to him to leave the capital for a while, as if leaving behind a trail of mystery and unknown events. The mysterious stranger who left the scene of the incident, in turn, left behind a whole bunch of mysteries to which there seemed to be no answers. After a while, Wolf returned to class, as if his return gave him a new perspective and inner strength for the next stage of his journey. Rui was stunned by this idea, as if a whirlwind of unexpected thoughts rushed through his head, leaving behind a trail of mysterious excitement and unknown prospects. At that moment, Mikhail joined them, as if the unexpected arrival brought with it a fresh wind of change, filling the space with new possibilities and dynamics. Michael became dissatisfied, noticing that Rantelwolf was silent, then said something decisively, as if intending to destroy this silent barrier. An atmosphere of discontent clearly reigned between them, as if the shadows of an unfriendly relationship were slowly spreading between them, creating a tense background in their communication. In this situation, Mikhail initiated everything that happened, as if taking on the role of a leader, directing the course of events in his direction. In response to Michael's initiative, Wolf emphatically proposed a duel, as if it were a challenge that could change the direction of their relationship, with more than just words at stake. All their classmates responded to this challenge, as if they had gathered around them to witness this unusual confrontation and decide who would emerge victorious in this duel. Charlotte came to the decision that after the duel they might feel better, and therefore there was no need to intervene, as if believing in the healing power of this confrontation to resolve the tension between them. The moment Yuri entered their circle, a determination appeared in his eyes to share something important about the bracelet, as if interrupting a moment that could change everything. Once in the spotlight, the bracelet was not stolen, but the mystery of its creation and purpose remained mysterious, as if its origins were to be revealed and unraveled. Having debunked the mystery around the bracelet, it turned out that it was an extraordinary artifact, the bracelet of the ogre himself, like an unnoticed link in the chain of his mysterious history. Yuri had difficulty accepting the fact that such an important bracelet was in front of him, as if doubting the truth of this discovery and its connection with the fate of the ogre. The girl asked to look at the bracelet from the inside. A flower was engraved on ogre's things. Having discovered that the bracelet was a family secret, Yuri sought to keep this information secret, as if understanding that no outsider should know about it. The main character suddenly realized that in front of him was exactly the key that was mentioned to him, like a piece of a mysterious puzzle that could reveal long-awaited secrets. At that moment, his feelings did not deceive him, and he turned out to be right, as if his intuition was leading him to the truth, revealing to him the long-awaited answer to the riddle. He politely asked to be given this bracelet for a while, as if intending to delve into its secrets and unravel its meaning. If Charlotte did not object, then Yuri expressed his agreement, as if all members of the group began to understand that this bracelet could be the key to solving many mysteries. The guy decided not to remove the seal right now, preferring to leave it untouched, as if realizing that it was better to try not to directly touch this mysterious artifact. Charlotte, blushing lightly, with a slight tinge of irritation, asked why he needed the bracelet, as if looking for answers to questions that worried her. Charlotte, without showing indignation, only asked about the time when he could tell, as if striving for clarity regarding this mysterious story. He politely agreed with her proposal, as if he was ready to share this secret when the right moment came. In addition, Yuri was interested to know why the guy needed this bracelet, as if faced with another link in their common mysterious history. Late in the evening, his friend the parrot appeared to the main character, as if unexpectedly bringing a fresh portion of clues and fun into this mysterious world. Wolf claimed that this parrot had wisdom, as if bringing intelligent thoughts into its surroundings, which added mystery to the overall context of events. According to residents, this parrot also won their favor, as if bringing joy and positive emotions to their common space. Now the guy decided to start studying the bracelet, as if opening a new path to solving the mysteries he had encountered. When he put on the bracelet, a blinding light suddenly gushed around him, as if opening a door to a world of bright revelations and mysterious possibilities. He wondered what floor he was on this time, and perhaps he was about to face a hostile presence, as if every floor in this world could hide its own secrets and dangers. But to his surprise, after a long time, he finally discovered his sister Alice, as if meeting his loved one was an unexpected gift among the mysteries of this supernatural world. At that very moment, he was overcome with excitement, as if the meeting with his sister had severed all ties and returned to him a piece of previously lost harmony. The girl cautiously asked if Rui was really standing in front of her, as if the incredible return gave reason to wonder about the nature of this meeting. He responded positively, bringing joy to her heart, as if the confirmation of his identity meant unspeakable happiness for her at this moment of meeting. Both felt the joy of finally meeting again, as if the emotions in the arms of a long-awaited meeting were intertwined, creating a magical moment in their dissolute world. Alice was indescribably glad that they were together again, as if the happiness of being reunited with her brother had no boundaries, filling her heart with joy and warmth. The sister's friend reminded the main character that, as always, he too did not remain indifferent, as if emotions overwhelmed him, causing tears of joy or perhaps melancholy. But he could not understand what she was talking about, because she herself was also crying, as if emotions and experiences made their meeting deep and mysterious. Brother and sister continued to look at each other after a long separation, as if their glances reflected their entire history, experienced together and now coming to life at that moment. Over a cup of tea, Rui shared his story, recounting what had happened during all this time, as if each word brought new nuances to their journey together. Her hug was so tight and strong that she literally squeezed him between her breasts, as if trying to convey all her tenderness and love in this life-giving embrace. Alice's friend, already smiling, took the guy away from the girl herself, as if this unexpected turn of events added lightness and playfulness to their meeting. Rui, in turn, even thought that at this pace he might suffocate, as if the cheerful atmosphere around him created a feeling of incredible energy and movement. She asked him if he thought she was better than Alice. Rui asked if Alice was angry because he found the girl. Alice explained with a slight smile that her words were only a cheerful manifestation of good intentions, a game of the soul aimed at playfully teasing her brother. Lucy said with a peaceful smile that she didn't get angry over little things like that, adding that she thought friendship was more important, and even shared some sage advice with Alice. In addition, Lucy noted that her joy would not be exhausted only if Alice consciously avoided such actions, emphasizing her uniqueness in expressing emotions. Meeting again, Rui invited them to share their knowledge, expressing a desire to learn something new from them, thereby creating an exciting prospect for sharing experiences. Then, completely at a loss, Alice decided to amaze Rui by starting to demonstrate complex and incomprehensible techniques to him, opening up a world of unique techniques to him. Lucy, naturally, did not lag behind her friend, and happily shared her amazing methods and techniques with Rui, creating an atmosphere of inspiration and exchange of experience around them. The three reunited souls were filled with joy as they realized that they were united again, sparks of satisfaction flickering in each heart, revealing the priceless treasure of friendship. Rui, immersed in the learning process and absorbing the knowledge of Alice and Lucy, gradually became transparent, as if his essence was dissolved in a stream of new ideas and skills. Concerned and surprised, the girls could not unravel the meaning of this mysterious transformation and begged Rui to explain the mystery of what was happening. Rui began to explain that his physical body was in the real world, while here, in the dimension they encountered, only his soul remained, freely moving in a whirlpool of knowledge and experience. It is thanks to this that after 6 hours in an endless space filled with knowledge and trials, he returns back, overcoming the barriers between worlds to reunite his soul with his body in the real world. Now, with the understanding of the mystery of Rui and his travels between worlds, Alice comprehended the depth of what was happening and comprehended with a sense of wonder the whole amazing experience. She hugged her brother tightly, as if she wanted to embrace the entire moment, leaving his memory in her heart before he plunged back into the whirlwind of his spiritual journey. Rui, puzzled, could not understand why Alice reacted so sharply, overcome by an unknown mixture of love and secret fear for her brother crossing the boundaries between worlds. It seemed to her as if an eternity had passed since he left, as if time in their worlds moved at different speeds, taking him on a long adventure. They simply asked him not to forget that he had both of them, maintaining a connection not only in different dimensions, but also in the deepest corners of their hearts. In parting, they only said that they would always be for him, supporting and protecting him, ready to be a support in a world where reality and spiritual wanderings are intertwined. The girls were left alone again, but the fire of mutual support burned in their hearts. Their connection remained unshakable even in the absence of their brother, who set off on a world of mysterious journeys. Lucy confidently predicted that they would meet again, and Alice seemed to look into the future with some doubt, not really believing in the inevitability of a reunion. The girl believed with complete confidence that Rui, despite all the difficulties and trials, would definitely overcome her trials, realizing her goals and winning in her spiritual aspirations. When travelers passed through the gates, they were asked to present their migration card, which suddenly called into question the convenience and hassle-free nature of the trip. The man, with surprise in his eyes, could not understand the reason for the unexpected request for a migration card, lost in solving the mystery that had suddenly arisen along the path of his wanderings. The knight, trying to justify himself, explained his unexpected reaction by saying that he had encountered a samurai for the first time, turning his admiring and slightly embarrassed gaze to this representative of a different military tradition. The man was curiously asked for what purpose he had set out on this journey, suddenly drawing attention to the mystery of his mission and intentions. He replied that he had a job, but emphasized that it was not just an ordinary job, leaving the nature and significance of his activities a mystery. Upon entering the classroom, Rui happily greeted everyone, spreading a positive mood around him and filling the space with his energy. His greeting was answered, bringing warmth and friendliness back into the classroom. Quietly to himself, he wished Iris good morning, sending her quiet but sincere wishes that shrouded the beginning of his day in warmth and mystery. He was always intrigued by what Iris liked, and he was curious about her preferences, trying to unravel the mystery of her inner world. A classmate approached Iris to inquire about something, asked questions, and created an atmosphere of curiosity around the mysterious world of her interests and preferences. In an icy tone, she asked if the girl realized that she was being ignored, leaving a hostile tension in the air and raising questions in Iris's heart. On the contrary, the girl was glad that Iris finally spoke, experiencing positive emotional excitement from the conversation and new contact. Everyone in the class had already become friends, and only she felt a wall separating her from the others, a feeling of loneliness that she wanted to destroy. Rui looked forward to any chance to form a friendship with her, his eyes shining with determination to overcome the wall of misunderstanding and connect with her world. Rui was approached for help with homework, which provided an opportunity to connect and get to know each other through a common cause, paving the way for a potential friendship. However, it is unclear for what reasons their gazes turned into the distance, creating a moment of mysterious silence, like a hidden secret that has yet to be revealed. Lying on his desk, Rui was dying of boredom, immersed in the monotony of the learning process, dreaming of adventures and unknown worlds that could enliven his day. Charlotte asked if Rui was okay as he lay on the table, expressing concern and curiosity about his emotional state. She noticed that he simply couldn't get enough sleep lately, expressing concern for his physical and emotional well-being. Rui, meanwhile, recalled how he played with his new friend the parrot, smiling at the memories of joyful moments that brought light and rainbows into his life. At this time, he again felt a gaze on him, the same as at that moment in class, causing him incomprehensible sensations and an unknown secret. He mused that it might be an intent to kill him, sensing signs of an invisible threat that could darken his peace and quiet. Rui assured him that he was fine and that he was almost awake, trying to dispel the shadow of worry that shrouded his sudden awakening. Charlotte did not argue with the guy, taking his words on faith and showing understanding, leaving the moment without questions. The guy looked very excited while sitting in class. His emotions were boiling, filling the air with an atmosphere of mystery and expectation, as if something unusual was happening in his inner world. It doesn't matter where it comes from, and no one knows from whom, but it is sure to follow, as if a mysterious turn of fate is already rushing forward, bringing with it unknown variables. Walking through the forest, the main character felt that he was being watched, as if they were following his steps, as if an invisible eye was secretly watching his every step. He immediately decided to try something, creating a mysterious moment when the decisions and actions of the main character begin to influence the course of events, enveloping everything in an atmosphere of unpredictability. Ancient hieroglyphs should have been written around him, as if he had become an accomplice to an ancient secret, the deciphering of which could change his fate and the course of events. He drew a magic circle that embodied ancient knowledge and power in action, as if calling upon the mystical forces hidden in mysterious geometry. The magic circle could create a barrier, and this is exactly what Rui wanted to do, magically separating his world from outside influences and keeping his travels a secret. Taki was able to catch someone. He felt a sense of success, as if his magic circle had worked, creating an invisible net that caught the mysterious pursuer. Rui began to build a cage around himself, as if creating a magical amulet that would protect him from mysterious threats and allow him to unravel the secrets of his own world. To his surprise, he saw Iris standing before him inside the magical cage, as if her appearance was part of a mysterious plan that he could not predict. He could not understand where she had come from and why exactly she was in his magical cage, as if the mystery of her presence had to be solved along with the secrets of his own fate. The protagonist wondered if she would catch him, anticipating questions and doubts that cast a shadow of uncertainty on their meeting in the magical world. But he didn't want to fight her at all, revealing to her his true intentions and desire to unravel the secrets of their meeting together. Iris saw no point in answering the guy, creating a moment of confusion and mystery, as if her silence was part of a complex puzzle. She wanted to take revenge on him for her master, filling the air around her with tension and determination to change the course of events in her favor. After which, she began to attack her classmate, showing determination and strength, as if she'd become a merciless defender of her master in this magical battle. Well, it is an honorable thing that Rui did not allow himself to be easily offended and began to defend himself, showing restraint and determination to stand up for his essence in this unusual battle. The girl used a technique called bloodshed, which embodied magical power and extraordinary energy, as if her attack came from ancient times and was aimed at releasing mysterious forces. And it really worked, and the main character lay down right under a tree nearby, submitting to the power of the bloodshed technique, as if his resistance had been overcome by extraordinary strength. Now she had avenged her master, her attack resulting in victory, creating a moment of satisfaction and triumph behind the ecstatic magical battle. Rui, on the other hand, began to smile and said that his arm still hurt, bringing a touch of irony and playfulness to the situation, as if, despite the defeat, he had not lost his sense of humor. Iris could not understand how the guy could rise, creating a new moment of mystery in this unusual story, as if he had a power that defied ordinary understanding. This time, she was serious about finishing the guy off and used the bloody scythe, unleashing a new magic move with deadly energy, as if her resolve was undeniable. Her gaze was confident and calm, as if at that moment her whole being was filled with determination and indifference, creating the image of a fearless warrior in this magical confrontation. In a split second, she began to attack her opponent, channeling her determination into magical movements, as if at that moment time had slowed down, leaving only tense air around them. Easily dodging the attack, Rui danced among the glowing shards like a virtuoso, creating a whirlwind of emotion and brilliance that remained in the memory long after this incredible moment. Noticing Rui's deft movements, Lady Iris perceived something unique in them. It is not surprising that she wanted to study this guy in more detail because his grace was so attractive. Rui, like the wind, easily dodged the attack, noticing how Lady Iris was watching him with curiosity, and, slowing down the girl's steps, politely asked to explain who was at the origins of her charm and power, revealing the secret that had attracted his attention. Flushing with rage, she realized that the guy, by not recognizing her, had become the source of her disappointment, and the fire of rejection flared in her eyes. Developing further, it turned out that her lover, who became the object of Rui's attention, turned out to be not just a woman, but a demon queen, the embodiment of mysterious power and indomitable beauty in the world of magic. Hearing that her lover was the demon queen, Rui was momentarily in a state of slight shock, trembling in surprise at the magnificent secret that had just been revealed. Rui realized that his sister, who seemed ordinary in everyday life, had suddenly acquired a mysterious complexion, becoming a demon queen, and this discovery only increased his emotional turmoil. Iris, meeting Rui's gaze, unexpectedly declared that she felt energy from him comparable to the power of the queen, which once again excited the imagination and created a new layer of mystery in their meeting. Yes, there was truth in these words, because having lived 300 years with Alice, a piece of her strength and soul penetrated into Rui, leaving something in him that survived time and retained its mysterious essence. Having discovered that his magical power truly surpassed that of a human, Rui realized that something incomprehensible flowing through his veins, belonging to another, higher reality. She continued, promising to give only a small portion of her power to Rui, leaving the event in such a way that it would go unnoticed and unknown to ordinary people. With a smile, Iris warned that Rui had the ability to deceive others, emphasizing that his art of stealth and disguise would impress those who met him. However, she emphasized that despite his ability to deceive, she, as the Lord and Queen of Demons, does not fall for such tricks, remaining inaccessible to any tricks. By discovering that her magical eye had the unique ability to see magical energy, its shape and color, Iris added a new dimension to their exploration of the mysterious aspects of the magic that surrounded them. In Rui's gaze, there was more than just the magical energy of the Demon King. She noticed in him an unknown force capable of influencing the deepest realities and secret currents of the universe. For the first time, she didn't notice it herself, but on the day of the exams, when magic was the most important, she felt that there was something outstanding and mysterious about Ruya. Observing him closely during exams, she noticed how adept he was at using black magic, revealing the dark aspects of his inner world, which added to the mystery of his personality. Then Rui, feeling her gaze, suddenly realized at what point he had used black magic. and this inner guess filled him with mixed feelings of discovery and self-knowledge. Stunned by the flow of new information and inner discoveries, Rui experienced a slight shock when he realized that his world was full of mysteries and secrets that could hardly be revealed. He was lost in questions about who Iris was, who turned out to be the Lord and Queen of Demons, possessing so many mysterious and hidden abilities that each answer brought only new riddles. Having decided to reveal her secret to the guy, Iris was ready to meet him and tell him who she really was, opening the door to new pages of their interaction. Iris revealed that she was one of the great demon queen's subjects and a vampire, revealing her true nature, which was hidden from the eyes of many vampires. Rui was undoubtedly shocked by this unexpected news, and his emotions fluctuated between surprise, respect, and slight anxiety in the face of the mystery and magic that surrounded this mysterious vampire. The main character, experiencing a mixture of feelings, dared to find out if this girl was the very vampire he may have always been looking for in his soul and in the world of secrets. Iris said that due to the small number of their relatives, they are on the verge of extermination, inspiring the main character that in front of him stands not only a mysterious vampire, but also a defender of his people, fighting for survival. Having unraveled the plan of fate, Iris said that their family was saved from extermination by the guy's sister, who remained faithful to her past and her people, which added even more mystery and nobility in her eyes. Studying these new details, the main character fell into a growing shock, comprehending the depth of secrets and connections that intertwined around him, creating a web of mysterious relationships and debts. Realizing that Alice, his sister, was in hell, the main character realized that her search had become an even more difficult task, because hell is a dark and inaccessible reality. Iris finally found a guy in the capital, a man with magical abilities comparable to the Demon King, which added new nuances to their meeting and relationship. So this means that the guy who has the magical power of the Demon King is actually her real enemy, and opens up a new level of complexity in their relationship. Iris began to explain that there are only two ways to take on another's magical power. The first is to gradually take it away over a long period of time, but this method is not suitable for him due to his short life. Rui naturally did not agree with this because his life was extremely long, and such a slow method was not an attractive option for him. Iris claimed that his power came from his act of killing Alice, which became the source of his magical power, which left him with a mixture of guilt and shock. Doubting the veracity of his words, the girl could not believe her boyfriend, because the idea that he received his magical power from the death of Alice seemed incredible to her. She decided that there was no point in asking him any more questions, since his answers caused final irritation and disappointment, leaving her in a state of dissatisfaction and misunderstanding. The readiness to tear him to pieces on the spot took possession of her, and sparks of indignation flashed in her eyes, muted by rage at the perceived betrayal and riddles that kindled the dark flame in her. Iris, using the High Cross blood spear, the embodiment of her power, prepared for an act of vengeance aimed at the border between light and darkness, emphasizing her determination and skill in battle. The guy did not show much nervousness, as he believed in his strength and confidence that he could overcome all difficulties and win the upcoming battle. To ensure his protection, he activated the Satanic Ray, the embodiment of dark forces, ready to answer the call and stand by his side in the fight against the powerful Iris. In the blink of an eye, the bloody spear disappeared as if it had never been there, highlighting the fickleness of magic and the unpredictability of the outcome of this unusual battle. The girl refused to believe in his real strength, since the idea of his strength was distorted in the eyes of her confused mind, unable to comprehend such magical greatness. From that moment on, she fell to her knees, faced with invincibility and shock, opening a new chapter in her understanding of the magic and power that stood before her. Iris, having overcome her own bewilderment, was unable to fully unravel the mystery of who he really was, remaining in the dark about the true nature of his power and essence. The main character began to explain that he was the same as the girl, seeking to save his queen, which clarified his true motives and clarified the paradoxes of their meeting in the world of magic and mysteries. Both, having finished the storm of clashes and conversations, sat down on a snag in the forest, surrounded by a silence that seemed to slowly restore balance to their relationship. The girl could not accept into her reality the truth that her queen was really alive, And this fact, like a magical blow, deserved comprehension and internal acceptance. Ready to answer for her actions, she was willing to accept whatever punishment awaited her for her actions, offering her loyalty and repentance to her queen. Instead of suggesting punishment, he suggested that they work together to save his sister, which reflected his willingness to cooperate and showed that he had a place of leniency in his heart. To console her, he promised that the issue of punishment would be resolved after they worked together to save his sister, trying to find a balance between justice and mercy. Realizing that revealing the lives of both kings could lead to war, they realized that they needed to be extremely careful and tactful to avoid additional difficulties and conflicts in a world where politics and forces could throw everything into chaos. At this point, the protagonist realized that revealing this information would make it difficult to seek help from anyone else, as it would raise questions of travel and loyalty in the face of potential conflict. However, this did not mean that everyone around would automatically become enemies. There were those who could understand the difficult circumstances and remain neutral in this situation. As it turned out, all this time other vampires were watching them from afar, which created additional layers of intrigue and uncertainty in their already established history. A man named Bruno appeared before the couple, suddenly intervening in their destinies and introducing new elements into an already confusing scenario. Bruno said that even after 300 years, the Demon King remains the only master for this couple, instilling in them that the bonds of the past cannot be easily broken. The man wasted no time and immediately asked the guy to make them his subjects, presenting them with difficult choices and trials. Bruno admitted that before this they had no idea, but after 300 long years they finally met the bridge to the Demon King, creating a new twist in the plot of their lives. Bruno revealed to them that Rui was their last hope, the key to solving the mysteries and to their survival in a complex game of power and magic. To the surprise of everyone, the guy easily agreed to their proposal, as if he had awakened in him the confidence that this path would lead to new discoveries and opportunities. Iris, feeling responsible for the noise of her companions, asked the guy for forgiveness, trying to remain calm and resolve the misunderstanding that arose due to their sudden appearance. She explained that all of her partners were just deliriously happy, somehow losing control and having an unexpected effect on those around them. The main character was also glad that he had more friends, and in this whirlwind of events he found some joy and support in his journey. The girl sincerely admitted that she hopes for further cooperation with the guy, expressing her readiness to cooperate and develop their relationship. After all the incidents, the guy decided to rest a little, giving himself the opportunity to think about what happened and look at the future from a new perspective. Rui, who remembered in his dream that his room smelled very delicious, woke up with a feeling of mystery that approached him again. When he finally realized that there was someone else in the room instead of him, he fell into a slight shock, not expecting such a turn of events, which added a new element of mystery to his adventure. In front of him, he saw a girl standing and preparing food, creating an atmosphere of warmth and comfort in the room, which caused him amazement and an incredible feeling of surprise. On the threshold of a spring morning, when the rays of the sun gently hugged the earth, Iris greeted a mysterious guy whose gaze was so deep that words seemed superfluous in their invisible conversation. With a look full of tenderness, Iris told the guy about her culinary plans, promising him breakfast like a magical symphony of flavors, and asked him to wait, leading him into a world of anticipation. The main character was curious about what Iris was doing in his room, creating a mysterious atmosphere filled with rumors of mysterious secrets and magic that he did not yet know about. Rui is left waiting for an explanation of how the sorceress Iris entered his world, like a mysterious star falling from the heavens to illuminate the path to unexpected enchantments. Iris explained with a slight smile that she was destined to be his assistant, as if fate had long ago decided that their paths would intertwine to create a unique saga in their shared life. Iris handed him her creation on a plate as a gift, and warmly admitted that she had invested not only skill, but also all her love into this breakfast. When you look at the table, Iris's breakfast truly looks delicious, with bright colors, delicious aroma, and a rich variety of dishes creating the feeling of a magical morning feast. The main character, enjoying a magnificent breakfast, sincerely thanked Iris for this banquet, in which every taste, like a note of melody, sounded juicy and memorable. When he finally decided to try something with his own hands, the main character realized how deliciously he could cook, weaving a piece of his inner warmth into every culinary masterpiece. In the atmosphere of the class, the girl decided to reintroduce herself, as if revealing her story in new shades, causing a mysterious stir among her classmates. This time she introduced herself as Ryu, resurrected and whole again, as if gently mended by the magic of time and fate, ready to weave new stories with her class. Of course, everyone in the class was amazed by this unexpected news, and a look of amazement flashed in their eyes, as if opening a new chapter of the mysterious journey with Ryu. And among the surprised looks, Charlotte stood out with her discontent, as if there was disharmony in her heart caused by the unexpected turn of events in the class. With her appearance and facial expression, Charlotte literally conveyed to everyone that she was deeply dissatisfied with the current situation, as if her internal rebellion was broadcast to the whole class. Charlotte, with a demanding, urgent air, demanded an immediate explanation from her boyfriend, as if demanding clarity in the foggy web of mysterious events unfolding in their classroom. In a whirlwind of excitement and uncertainty, Iris intervened for an unknown reason, deciding to hug the guy, as if eclipsing the moment and diffusing the tension that had gripped the class. Rui did his best to reconcile Charlotte and Iris, as if protecting them from unnecessary disagreements and tensions that could cloud the air in the classroom. After some time, they finally calmed down, found a common language, and sat in the classroom, like the only harmony in the world after a storm of uncertainty. The guy decided that what was still ahead, written on the board, was already important, and peered into the next chapter as if into a riddle ready to unfold before him. The teacher stood in front of the class, arguing that it was not the race that was important, but those who overcame the wall of strength, receiving a special mark, as if drawing attention to the strength of the inner spirit, capable of overcoming any barrier. When its owner becomes stronger, it transforms into a golden royal mark, and a special royal mark also appears next to it, as if symbolizing the highest level of strength and wisdom. When the teacher asked who knew anything about this royal mark, one of the boys energetically raised his hand, as if ready to reveal the secrets he had learned in his quest. He began to explain that when you think of a special royal mark, what comes to mind is the Dragon King and the Demon King, two monarchs who are completely different from each other in nature. As demon kings, they become the embodiment of brutal power, their power piercing the darkness and causing trembling in the hearts of those who dare cross their path. In a martial arts tournament, participants will fight the previous demon king, and the winner will join the ranks of the elite to become the next lord, thereby passing on the title of a demon with outstanding magical power. Of course, in this fascinating story, Iris saw her destiny reflected as if in a mirror, where magic and adventure are closely intertwined with her own story. Unlike demons, Dragon Kings are born with the mark of a king inherited from their royal family. From that point on, they are destined to become Dragon Lords, but carry the burden of that title from birth. The teacher announced that the next step would be practice, but emphasized that this time their mentor would be a different teacher, as if making a mysterious change in the class routine. Everyone was startled by the news that they would now have a teacher with an overall grade, as if the sudden appearance of this mysterious teacher caused surprise and excitement in the class. Rui realized that he now had ample opportunities to gain new knowledge and experience, as if the upcoming training under the guidance of a teacher with a general assessment promised to be exciting and useful. The teacher asked if they were Legas's students, as if hinting at his connection with a mysterious and influential educational institution. The man introduced himself as a traveling swordsman named Kojiro and announced that he would be teaching them for a while, as if bringing a dose of mystery and adventure to the class. Charlotte, full of curiosity, wondered how powerful this man was, as if his power held secrets that could captivate the imagination. The man invited them to fight him if they wanted to find out how strong he was, as if challenging him to a duel to reveal his true strength and skill to them. The entire class was eager to meet such a great master in battle, as if the flames of passion and excitement were burning in their hearts, creating an atmosphere of excitement and anticipation. The wolf, with a burning thirst for battle, resolutely expressed his desire to fight first, as if he was ready to accept the challenge and show his skills in front of the great master. Kojiro announced that Wolf and Michael could attack him together, as if giving them a unique opportunity to test their strength in an alliance against the great swordmaster. He then unsheathed his sword, as if unraveling the mystery hidden within the blade, and prepared his eyes for the coming battle. The man decided to shake their confidence and asked if they were afraid of the possibility of losing together, as if challenging their determination and fortitude. Their dissatisfaction grew as the man did not seem to take them seriously, as if forcing them to prove their strength even more forcefully. Kojiro noticed the strong spirit in them and wondered what would come of this struggle, as if seeing in their determination and energy the potential for something unexpected and great. He then announced that he was ready to fight, a glimmer of determination and experience seeming to flash in his eyes, ready to test his strength. Next, the man pushed off from the floor, as if flying into the air, and in his movements one could already read the grace of an experienced warrior, ready for battle. The wolf didn't even have time to react as the sword master approached him like a shadow, silently and efficiently, creating the feeling that the battle had begun even before the first blow. Wolf's strike, compared to Swordmaster Kojiro's, seemed surprisingly slow, as if time had slowed down, highlighting the gap in skill and experience. Michael could not afford to lose this battle, as if his determination was filled with a burning desire to overcome the challenge and prove his strength. He then used a technique called bomb, as if suddenly revealing his arsenal of techniques that could bring surprise to battle. By this point, the man had already admitted that the situation had become a little dangerous, as if the internal fire of their passions was fueling the fight to the limit of tension. They were furious when they saw that even a few blows did not reach their target, as if anger and disappointment ignited the flame of determination within them. By the way, now he is preparing for a new attack, as if the moment of truth is approaching again, and they are ready to face unknown challenges. Wolf gave him advice to bite his tongue during a fight, as if trying to tactfully emphasize the need for silence at this moment, so as not to divulge his plans. Kojiro easily dodged the guy's attack. Grace and skill seemed to appear in his movements, making it clear that for him, such attacks were just an easy stage of testing. And then, with ease and skill, he threw the wolf away from himself several meters, as if demonstrating superiority and control in this fight. Mikhail could not give up, because this would mean that his dignity would suffer. He stood resolutely, ready to accept the challenge and continue the fight. He was ready to use his strongest magic, as in the exciting moment when he called upon his inner strength for the final decisive attack. Michael was slightly surprised that the man didn't try to defend himself, but decided that if he did, he would try to attack harder. The guy decided to use his bomb of the longest range, as if creating a vortex of energy that would absorb everyone around in a vortex of its power. But Kojiro still continued to stand motionless, as if his equanimity and steadfastness were a strong shield from the oncoming whirlwind of magic. After a while, a smile appeared on his face and he was ready to strike, as if his gaze contained wisdom and confidence in the upcoming action. And it was at that moment that he did what he had in mind, as if the moment had exploded with a powerful blow, leaving behind only an echo. Mikhail could not believe what was happening, as if the world around him was distorted, reflecting the improbability and unexpectedness of what had happened. The man asked if they could continue, as if the inner determination and passion of battle had now reached a new level, making them want to go further. But Mikhail lost the strength and desire to continue. He realized that he had lost, and in the end, gave up, as if admitting defeat to the strength of an experienced opponent. Everyone present was shocked that this man had defeated them so easily, as if his skill had pierced their expectations and caused uncontrollable admiration. Rui was confident that now, after this fight, he would become a better person, as if in every defeat he saw an opportunity for his own growth and improvement. The main character took the sword in his hands, as if feeling the weight of the weapon, preparing for the next test that will take his skills to the next level. The man noticed that the main character had again tensed his shoulders too much, and advised him to move the weight lower, as if sharing his experience and suggesting how to improve the technique. The man admitted that before he was a nobody, but for a clearer understanding, he added that now he is confident in his abilities and knows who he really is. His perseverance left a mark on him as a mark of achievement, showing his journey and efforts to become someone important. The man decided that his upcoming task would be to train the prince, as if a new chapter in their shared history had opened before him, full of lessons and discoveries. James stated that he personally trains the prince, and the man does not need it, as if his words convey confidence in his abilities and responsibility for training the air. There was clearly tension between them, as if uncertainty and dissatisfaction were in the air, creating an atmosphere of intransigence. The guy said that it was his duty and he could not do otherwise, as if emphasizing his devotion and determination in fulfilling his duties. But Yuri said that the guy shouldn't worry. Kojiro no longer interfered with all this. When the man asked if anyone else wanted it, Michael and Wolf immediately extended their hands to him. James didn't think the man was bad, but he couldn't let others get close to the prince without doing something special. Yuri was glad that he had such a guard. Rui realized that they had a really strong connection. The main character said that James will teach him today. Nevertheless, Kojiro suggested starting training. Rui was clearly alarmed. He didn't look the best. Something was very bothering him, and he wasn't doing a good job of hiding it. Rui was clearly alarmed. He didn't look the best. Something was very bothering him, and he wasn't doing a good job of hiding it. Charlotte couldn't understand why Rui always goes with him and trusts him. It was clear to her from the very beginning that this was a bad idea. Iris realized that she should be with the main character and should also think about my rebellious behavior. She still didn't have enough to ruin everything for the master. Usually Wolf was also with them, but this time it was an exception. The main character was asked how he was doing. The same stranger with whom he had met when named Frederick appeared in front of the guy. Rui heard that Frederick had gotten into some kind of squabble again. This was clearly not a good sign for him. Frederick asked the main character who it was next to him. Frederick noticed that they were very cheerful. The guy said that he had information that Rui would like. As it turned out, Frederick found a dungeon nearby, not far from them. And the main character really became interested after hearing it. But the girl, on the contrary, somehow became wary after that. Frederick decided to tell this information to Rui because the ruins there could have a connection with the hero whom the guy was working so hard on. Rui's expression instantly changed. He was ready to plunge into this headlong. Frederick told the guy that he was glad that he was able to interest Rui. He found the entrance there, but there is a rather strong seal on it. The template really had an unusual shape, and more specifically, the shape of a petal or flower. Surprisingly, Charlotte had the exact same symbol on her sword as on this template. As it turned out, this was the family mark of the family of heroes. It was not simple, but truly legendary and meaningful. So there was a high probability that this dungeon had some kind of connection with the hero, which could play into the hands of the main character. A girl named Kazakh was very interested in what awaited them for the treasure inside the dungeon. Kazakh woman was born and raised in Cuba Senpai. Now the guy understood where she got such a dialect from. Charlotte couldn't understand why Wolf didn't go with them today. But as it turned out, today he's training with Michael. After the fight with Kojiro, the two of them began to train very hard and diligently, which was to bear fruit in the future. Just at that moment, Rui noticed Kojiro sitting nearby, whom he remembered a couple of seconds ago. It's clear that Rui had a bunch of questions, and one of them was about what the teacher forgot here. The man admitted that he was told that effective medicinal herbs grow here, so he was looking for them. The guy admitted that he was not here because they were actually going to see what the dungeon was up ahead. Kojiro warned the students that this could be dangerous, especially since this dungeon is new, and it is unknown what kind of monsters and traps are there. Rui assured Kojiro that they were not going to play there, and if it was dangerous, they would immediately leave the dungeon. But no matter what, in any case, they need to go there. No matter what, a lot of things depend on it. Kojiro will agree to this only if they take him with them, so that he can look after them and help if something happens. Kojiro provided the children with a homemade regeneration potion that works on scrapes and bruises. But still, they must be extremely careful on this expedition, because the potion will not be able to save them from final death if something happens. Rui was disturbed by how kind the teacher was to them throughout the whole time, especially at this moment in time. Now they were clearly ready to begin exploring the dungeon, which was fraught with a lot of mysteries and treasures. After some relatively short time, they finally came to the dungeon. It's not that this was a new dungeon. The ruins had always been here, but Frederick thought that they had been plundered. But about a week ago, I accidentally found the entrance downstairs, which served as the discovery of this mysterious dungeon. Near the dungeon, there was a group of people consisting of 5 people. They were diligently trying to find something, but at the moment, they were resting. Kazaka shared her opinion that this group of people seemed unpleasant, and she would not particularly want to be around them for a long time. The gaze of the tired men immediately fell on the girl, and indeed their appearance and gaze were not the most pleasant, very angry and cold-blooded. They rudely asked what they needed and why they came here. The men thought that someone had already arrived, but it turned out that they were just children. This clearly made them laugh. The next people they turned to were Charlotte and Iris. They told them that it was dangerous here and it was better for them not to be here. Otherwise, the consequences could be dire. If they walk here, the bad adults will catch them. This behavior made Charlotte very angry. Although she did not show the full aspect of her emotions, you could still tell that she was unhappy with it. Iris even said that if they want to flirt, they should first start with taking care of themselves because their behavior was disgusting. The man was speechless after such words. He clearly did not expect to hear this from the school students. They hoped that they would be scared of them and immediately run away. The man instantly became furious and even pulled out a knife, saying that the girls would regret not taking him seriously. For unknown reasons, he decided to start with Rui, then swung at the guy and was ready to strike. It is clear that Rui easily dodged this attack, and it did not cause him any harm. Then the main character began to attack himself in order to show that the man has no right to conduct a dialogue with them like that. The men's partners could not understand at all what these children were allowing themselves to do, and were also ready to show them their place. Frederick realized that it looked like the three wouldn't get inside so quickly, and something had to be done to speed up this process. But everyone knew how Frederick loved fun, so this fight had to be memorable and colorful. But the men didn't care about the threats of Frederick and the others, because there were more of them, and he saw this as their advantage. Sometimes you need to prove yourself like senpai. Frederick created a clay creature or a magic doll. In any case, this was a bad sign for the men, because now they certainly had no chance of winning the dungeon. This creature had a truly bewitching appearance. With its mere appearance, it could scare off many pseudo-heroes, like in this case, men. Already trembling with fear, the man told the others not to dare to retreat, because they must stand to the end, no matter what happens. The man even managed to hit the creature and slightly pierce its thick ball of clay. But the problem was that after such a blow, he simply could not reach his weapon. Frederick gave the command to the golem to begin battles in order to quickly move on to the dungeon, after which the golem delivered an incredible blow with such force that the earth shook after it. Then the partners saw their friend already unconscious, lying on the floor straight, like that impudent man who was in a similar situation. In a mysterious voice, someone told Ryu and Iris not to move. Otherwise, unexpected things might happen to everyone. Turning around, they saw in front of them a man who was holding a knife right in front of the Kazakh's throat. He pathetically asked whether they knew what would happen if they moved. He asked them again, only this time he raised his tone or whether they understood what was happening. And just after these words, not a trace remained of the man's sword. It is unclear who, and it is unclear how his sword was simply cut in half, which radically changed the whole situation. As it turned out, it was the work of Kazakh. Because of the noise, her baby woke up. This baby was like an abnormally sized praying mantis, which instantly attacked the stranger. The insect immediately began to attack the man in order to protect the girl. The Kazakh woman immediately began to apologize to her friend and said that they were already finishing. Frederick was not at all aware of the existence of this man, and next time he would have to ask permission to look at him and find out more. The men decided to attack the opponents, relying on numerical superiority. And their only argument was that there were many of them, and there was only one opponent. The girl decided that since one of them woke up, she needed to wake up the others. Suddenly, a multitude of abnormally huge insects appeared, and their origins remained a mystery, but now their numbers were strikingly equal. The man was instantly frightened by what he saw, and this seemed quite natural, given the strangeness of what was happening. Stunned by the inexplicable, the man felt instant fear. With gratitude in his heart, the Kazakh began to warmly express his gratitude to his friends for the help they provided, pouring words into their contributions to his life with warmth and sincerity. Charlotte and Iris, noticing the main character, immediately began to find out if everything was okay with him, showing concern and keen interest in his well-being. The guy, rejoicing at the victory over his enemies, realized that it was important that they did not remember them, and now he had to do everything possible to erase his trace from their memory. The main character suddenly began to use an unknown technique, shrouding his actions in an aura of mystery and causing interest and surprise among those around him. As it turned out, This was what his teachers had taught him, and he now applied what he had learned with confidence and skill. By channeling electricity through his head, the hero discovered that he could manipulate memories, effectively erasing parts of the past and leaving behind traces of uncertainty. Waking up, the man was surprised to find that he did not recognize any of them, and a blank sheet opened in his memory, as if the pages of memories had been erased. Waking up, the man was surprised to find that he did not recognize any of them, and a blank sheet opened in his memory, as if the pages of memories had been erased. Just a few seconds later, the mysterious seal that Frederick had spoken about appeared in front of them, as if the prophetic moment of their adventure had come true. Moreover, this seal proved to be extremely durable, which only increased the difficulty before them and added new puzzles to their already difficult task. Moreover, this seal proved to be extremely durable, which only increased the difficulty before them and added new puzzles to their already difficult task. It is unclear why the main character suddenly grabbed Charlotte's hand, as if trying to dissuade her from something or warn her from an invisible danger. Rui asked Charlotte not to overwork herself if she was doing it for his sake, and resolutely began to investigate whether it was possible to somehow remove the mysterious seal in question. The girl, of course, was outraged by this guy's reaction, expressing her dissatisfaction and misunderstanding in response to Rui's sudden appeal. The girl, of course, was outraged by this guy's reaction, expressing her dissatisfaction and misunderstanding in response to Rui's sudden appeal. She also wanted to know what her ancestor was like, and to see with her own eyes the history that formed the basis of her own origins. That is why she has nothing to fear. She strives to reveal the secrets of her past and moves forward with confidence, eliminating fear from the equation. Charlotte then began the process of removing the mysterious seal, setting before her an amazing path to uncovering secrets and reconnecting with the past. After some time, he managed to achieve a positive result, and that mysterious seal was finally successfully removed, opening up new horizons and secrets for them. At this time, Frederick smiled widely, confident that Charlotte would cope with the task, and completely believing in her, supporting her until the very end. Although there was nothing special inside, it was thanks to the hero's granddaughter that success was achieved in removing the seal. Otherwise, all efforts could have been in vain. The protagonist's gaze faded, and for reasons unclear, he was called out and ordered to stand, creating a mysterious moment in his own story. Turning around, he noticed 3 strangers standing in front of him, creating a sudden tension and mystery in the air. Turning around, he noticed 3 strangers standing in front of him, creating a sudden tension and mystery in the air. The guy asked permission to join them in the dungeon, expressing a desire to go together through unforeseen trials and secrets that were hidden in these mysterious places. Rui wondered who they were, as he could not allow them to join without understanding their identity and goals in this mysterious place. After apologizing, the guy explained that he did not want to scare them, introducing himself as Max, the leader of a group called the Jackal, making excuses for their sudden appearance in front of Rui. The girl with blue hair was named Jima, and she was a thief. With a wave of her hand, she expressed pleasure at meeting her, adding that it was nice to meet you. The third girl turned out to be Mal. Despite her status as a newcomer, she was a magician, which added interest to this unpredictable group. Max reassured them, telling them not to be afraid, since they were only at the very bottom of their lowest rank group, urging them not to judge by first impressions. Realizing that they couldn't do it alone, they decided to ask Rui if they could help them on their difficult journey by revealing their own purpose and motivation. It turned out that they were quietly watching their fight, and emerging from the shadows, Max apologized for not being able to intervene and help them at that moment. Charlotte asked if there were any advantages to them joining and helping them, finding out how they could benefit from this alliance. Max began to explain that, despite their weakness, they had a lot of experience in the jungle and knew how to discover traps, treasures, and secret passages, which their new acquaintances did not know how to do. Indeed, it was true that they did not know at all how to handle traps, find treasures, and discover hidden passages in the jungle. Indeed, it was true that they did not know at all how to handle traps, find treasures, and discover hidden passages in the jungle. Max suggested that if they couldn't come to a decision, they could look at the magic items they had, hoping it might shed some light on next steps. Max suggested that if they couldn't come to a decision, they could look at the magic items they had, hoping it might shed some light on next steps. Rui's heart was touched by this magical item, and it was clear to him that this treasure would be useful to him in future adventures. As it turns out, the ring drained Max's magical power, but released some that didn't enter his inner sphere, creating an interesting twist on the use of this magical item. The next item was the Medal of Body Change, which, when placed around the neck, promised to protect against any attack, adding a new element of security to the collection of magical artifacts. Kazakh was not entirely happy about this, because this pendant broke from a light attack. After Max suggested the next item, the main character broke down and gave them permission to join them on their difficult journey. The group was delighted with such news, because now they had a chance to survive in this dangerous dungeon with the support of experienced comrades. Charlotte wasn't sure that everything would be fine and was a little nervous about it, keeping a cautious optimism in her heart. Charlotte wasn't sure that everything would be fine and was a little nervous about it, keeping a cautious optimism in her heart. Max warned his allies that if they faced a strong enemy, they had better run away, creating a strategy to ensure their safety in difficult situations. As it turns out, the group's true intention was to take all the treasure for themselves, raising questions about trust and the consistency of their journey together. As it turns out, the group's true intention was to take all the treasure for themselves, raising questions about trust and the consistency of their journey together. It's better to be careful. There must be a trap in such a corridor, for example, a copy emerging from the floor or an arrow. Just as Max was talking about the button in the floor, Rui unwittingly stepped on it, creating a tense moment and raising questions about following the warnings. However, now everyone clearly understood what Max warned about, looking at what happened with some puzzlement. Within a split second, a huge block of stone appeared above the people's heads, creating a shadow of fear and forcing them to quickly react to possible danger. The main character undoubtedly felt guilty at this moment, realizing that it was because of him that all these events were developing in this direction. The main character turned to Max with a request to take action, because it was for such situations that they brought them into their group to solve such problems. Max instructed Mala to take the lead since she was a mage, emphasizing her abilities in magic and the need to use them in this situation. The girl conjured a medium magic arrow and fired it straight towards the huge stone, quickly reacting to the threat and trying to nullify the potential danger. The girl conjured a medium magic arrow and fired it straight towards the huge stone, quickly reacting to the threat and trying to nullify the potential danger. Max realized that in front of him was a stone devoid of magical power, explaining why the girl's spell did not work, remembering how the Golden Adventurer cut a similar stone. Hearing that the stone could not be broken with an ordinary stone, the main character flared up with enthusiasm and instantly ran towards it, sweeping away obstacles in his path. Rui, after weighing the power of his meteor fist technique, decided to use it to break the mysterious stone, embodying power and determination in the act. The Jackal group marveled when they saw how the guy actually managed to break that mysterious stone, joyfully welcoming success and absorbing the energy of his victory. Iris carefully asked the guy to show more reason in such situations, reminding him of the possible dangers and risks that could lie in wait for him along the way. I have not yet encountered many different traps and obstacles on my way. Sometimes they faced situations where they needed to work together to overcome difficulties. Frederick noticed that they had already come a long way, but still had not discovered any treasure, causing him some concern. The main character said that there was an additional path deeper and suggested continuing research along this route. Maximum understanding may come when they discover a way out for themselves, or they may be able to invent a cunning plan that will help deceive everyone around them. Of course, he felt deep gratitude for the good fortune of meeting such distinguished comrades on this strange journey. Finding that vast spaces were opening up in places where they had not previously penetrated, the protagonist assumed that they were probably in the depths of the dungeon. Rui's gaze deepened into the distance, and his expression suddenly changed, acquiring a hint of fear and fear. Not seeing the slightest hint of a flying magic ball in front of them, they began to wonder if they were encountering one of the most treasured treasures hidden in the mysterious depths of the dungeon. It was difficult to unravel what exactly was revealed before their eyes. A mysterious manifestation, vague and incomprehensible, that captivated the imagination of all those present. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the words of some mysterious voice were heard, who announced that he was testing life reactions and was beginning to analyze the hero's genetic code. Having successfully completed the operation, The process of transferring information to the two began. Iris did not have time to react, and in an instant the main character seemed to disappear, dissolving into unknown spaces. With an additional shock, they discovered that not only the guy, but also Charlotte was missing. No one could understand how this could even happen. Max was also at a dead end, unable to explain what happened, because this was the first time he had encountered a similar phenomenon. Kazakh wisely asked Iris to wipe away the panic, reminding her that calmness is the best ally in solving difficult situations. Iris immediately began to apologize to Max for her unrestrained impulse, realizing that lost emotions do not always help in solving mysterious mysteries. Max realized that their disappearance resembled the magic of displacement. They were probably transported to another room. Frederick had an unpleasant premonition of trouble. Frederick noticed that the sphere examined them carefully, and then transported two of them. It seemed that it removed them, allowing us to continue on our way. But unfortunately, it left us. Frederick noticed that the sphere examined them carefully, and then transported two of them. It seemed that it removed them, allowing us to continue on our way. But unfortunately, it left us. The magical sphere seemed to take stock of the two, transporting them into the unknown while the others remained outside it, bereft of explanation and the opportunity to join. The magical sphere seemed to take stock of the two, transporting them into the unknown while the others remained outside it, bereft of explanation and the opportunity to join. The remaining group of people were confused, faced with misunderstandings, helplessly wondering about the next steps, because among those who left were those who possessed unrivaled strength and wisdom. At the same moment, the main character suddenly woke up, realizing that his face was blinding by an intense snow-white light, as if a bright ray was penetrating directly into his eyes. At the same moment, the main character suddenly woke up, realizing that his face was blinding by an intense snow-white light, as if a bright ray was penetrating directly into his eyes. Charlotte held out hope that the others were okay, and in turn decided that they should be concerned about their safety, leaving them as an afterthought. It was obviously much more dangerous here than in the previous place, and the girl, sensing the threat, immediately grabbed her sword, ready for any surprises. The main character's gaze darted to the girl's hand resting on the sword, and at that moment something mysterious and unknown flashed in her eyes. With caution, the guy took her hand and gently asked her not to resort to such actions, arguing that it was unnecessary and not required in this situation. In addition, he explained that he was with her to somehow reassure her, because against the backdrop of this difficult, intense situation, any support becomes important. After these words, Charlotte suddenly became confused. Confusion flashed across her face, and she became embarrassed, as if she had not expected such attention. She noted that she herself was capable of defending herself, but if he wanted, then so be it, she would agree, allowing him to take care of her protection. It is clear that the guy did not argue on this score and only added that he was ready to become her knight, giving her a sense of security in this mysterious and dangerous world. A stranger in a rather strange and old outfit wandered not far from them, attracting attention with his mysterious presence in this world full of secrets. Before they entered the ruins, there was no one here, and so this stranger became a mystery to them, adding mystery and uncertainty to their adventure. Sword in hand, Rui inquired about who stood before them, eager to discover the stranger's identity and learn more about who had joined their strange adventures. In response, he announced that he was waiting for them to take on the hero's legacy and share his intentions, taking responsibility for the next stage of their journey. Explaining that he posed no threat, he politely invited them to join, a silent gesture inviting them to come to him and reveal new aspects of their fateful journey. Having no other option, the three who came decided to follow him, following the mysterious stranger in the hope of new discoveries and unraveling the secrets of this strange world. Moving forward, they discovered something that caused them complete shock and surprise, causing their hearts to skip a beat from unpredictable explorations in this mysterious place. An extremely ancient painting of historical significance was spread out before them, right on the wall, arousing their respect and incredible admiration for the greatness of the past, brought to life by this work of art. The painting depicted the majestic ogre hero. His appearance came to life on an ancient canvas, revealing mysterious stories and exploits to them, plunging them into the depths of time. This painting showed the third-generation ogre. His powerful figure and expressive features remained in the surprise of the audience, as if opening a page of history that had previously been forgotten. The stranger decided to answer all their questions in sequence, preparing to reveal the secrets and provide them with the keys to understanding what was happening in this amazing historical place. The answers must have amazed them, causing surprise not only at the results, but also heightening their interest in what lies in the depths of this mysterious story. He sincerely admitted that his face was in a terrible state, soaked in time and rotten marks, creating a mysterious contrast between his history and appearance. He couldn't even remember his name, but it was because of his rotten face that he felt disgusted with his body, considering himself a kind of zombie in this mysterious past. This was the place where Mr. Ogre's data protection was controlled, where secrets and important information were kept, giving them the feeling that they had entered into the core of the secrets and mysteries of this historical past. He is an integral part of this place, intended to correctly reveal the meaning of the fresco. He has long been waiting for the right people who are able to unravel the secrets and penetrate the depths of the images presented in the work of art. Rui could not understand whether it was a decision to accept this position as part of this world, or whether he himself had consciously chosen this path, leaving the mystery of his own motivations. The main character was right. The stranger decided to become immortal based on his own will, thereby revealing the secret of his choice and the greatness of his unique destiny. The stranger decided to share with the park's heroes the story of the hero and his 3 true friends, revealing new chapters of this exciting saga and shedding light on their true connections. The group is now faced with uncertainty, not knowing what to do without Rui, since he could easily defeat the monster, creating a void with his absence. Iris was full of confidence that she could easily take on the monster on her own, feeling the strength and determination within herself to replace Rui and take on the responsibility of protecting the group. She made the decision to use the bloody spear, going into battle with a resolve shrouded in mysterious energy, ready to fight back the monster and reaffirm her willingness to stand in defense of her friends. Unfortunately for her, this did not bring any results, and the spear simply broke on the stone golem, expressing hopelessness in front of the unshakable strength of this extraordinary creature. Max couldn't believe that the spear really broke. For the first time, he saw a golem made of stones, the embodiment of sealing magic, and this made him amazed at the unexpected and strong opponent. Realizing that magic was powerless against the stone golem, Iris decided to retreat with the group, faced with a hopeless situation where there was simply no choice. Despite the difficulty of the situation, she decided to take a chance and try to strike the enemy, trying to somehow damage him and cause at least some kind of response from this stone golem. She put all her strength into this blow, concentrating on an instant attack with the hope that it might leave at least some mark on the impenetrable armor of the stone enemy. She put all her strength into this blow, concentrating on an instant attack with the hope that it might leave at least some mark on the impenetrable armor of the stone enemy. In a split second, she had to rush to the rescue from the monster, realizing that now the situation required not only strength, but also dexterity and the desire to survive. Fortunately, Kazuka intervened in time and saved the girl, strictly insisting that she stop getting into such dangers, showing concern for her well-being. Kazuka realized that they had apparently angered the golem and realized that they should retreat. To successfully win, they would need to attract more allies and join forces. The Kazakh was saved by Iris, and she could not understand why she was saved, because her life could simply be sacrificed in this dangerous situation. The Kazakh woman only laughed at the girl's reaction, realizing that the mysteries and secrets of this world can be unpredictable, causing different feelings and reactions. Kazuka said that Iris herself knows perfectly well why the girl saved her, adding to the mystery of this situation, in which there is something more than what is visible at first glance. It is clear that Iris could not understand what Kazuka was talking about, because the answer remained veiled in secret, raising only more questions. Charlotte was amazed, unable to believe that the man had willingly chosen to become a zombie based on his own choices. Rui felt that if he became a zombie, his life and memory would last forever, forcing him to think about the cost of such a choice. However, in most cases, others break down psychologically as they experience their body breaking down into a disgusting state. This only indicated that the man had been alone for 300 years, experiencing a long and solitary journey in his unusual destiny. But he asked not to express sadness. since the fact that they came here is already his reward, bringing him joy and satisfaction. Then, he decided to continue the explanation, revealing to them even more secrets and details of his amazing story. The mural depicts the hero and 3 others as the hero's team, considered the strongest in history, giving the group new perspectives and potential in their adventure. This reignited Charlotte's interest as unread pages of their history began to unfold, revealing endless possibilities and exciting secrets for her and the group. This reignited Charlotte's interest as unread pages of their history began to unfold, revealing endless possibilities and exciting secrets for her and the group. The man decided to start with the one to the right of the hero. Her name is the Fairy King Titania, introducing a new character into their story with an exquisite and mysterious name. The man decided to start with the one to the right of the hero. Her name is the Fairy King Titania, introducing a new character into their story with an exquisite and mysterious name. Next, to the left of the hero, is the King of the 3 Worlds, Balmung, representing another powerful character who has power over the 3 worlds in their exciting history. Rui inquired who the King of the 3 Worlds, Balmung, was, seeking to uncover the secret and essence of this mysterious ruler in their own epic. The man could not remember, and it looked very strange, as if memory, like a magic mirror, reflected the uncertainty and mystery in the past of this mysterious king. Charlotte could not believe what was happening and asked the man for an explanation, wanting to solve the mystery and restore a cloud of forgotten memories. Balmung was the strongest fighter on the hero's team, giving their alliance incredible strength and skill in battle, making him a key player in their history. Rui decided that he would later ask Wolf about Balmung, seeking to fill in the gaps in his memory and unravel the mysterious details of their own saga. And in the last position was the Snake Queen Ekinda. According to the records, she had a unique ability to see the future. She was the Queen of Lamias, half humans, half snakes. The girl, as well as the guy, unfortunately, did not have the opportunity to hear about her earlier, as if their worlds had forgiven each other, leaving an emptiness of untold stories in their hearts. Charlotte did not imagine that her generation would have to absorb such a mysterious mystery, as if fate had turned down a road where every bite opens up new pages of unknown stories. Perhaps they were trying to keep secret that he had non-human allies, implying that revealing this fact might alleviate discrimination between non-humans and beastmen. There was probably a reason, but perhaps it was better not to be deeply sad about it, leaving the mystery alone and trusting the flow of life. Rui played the game of ignorance, masking his uncertainty about how and why he ended up here with the girl. He was lucky enough to be in a key place where it was possible to find the key to unsealing the endless hell, as if a secret door led to the solution to a painful riddle. The man brought intrigue into the conversation, giving a hint that he still had something unsaid, as if revealing a page of his life full of secrets and unexpected turns. The man suddenly began to carry over the hero's words, as if opening a new chapter, where reality intertwined with fantasy, and his story became part of the plot of life. If someone in trouble needed support, the man should turn to his partners for help, as the last thread of salvation in a maze of incredible events. Rui was faced with misunderstandings, unable to figure out which partners the hero was talking about, as if trying to unravel a tangle of secrets wrapped in mysterious threads of the past. The man finally revealed his cards, sharing that their friends were attacked by a golem, as if a sudden darkness had fallen on their serene world, causing excitement and anxiety. The man finally revealed his cards, sharing that their friends were attacked by a golem, as if a sudden darkness had fallen on their serene world, causing excitement and anxiety. This was all that needed to be told to the man. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time, but when it came, he suddenly felt loneliness, as if a mysterious secret carried not only answers, but also sadness. Wrapping his arms around Charlotte, he expressed gratitude to her for everything, as if at that moment words became unnecessary, and the feelings found their response in the silence of the embrace. In parting, she said that he was a hero, even more outstanding than herself, as if he had left an indelible mark on their shared adventure. In parting, she said that he was a hero, even more outstanding than herself, as if he had left an indelible mark on their shared adventure. And then, literally, he seemed to crumble, disappearing into space like a shadow, taking with him mystery and heroic metamorphosis. Having made up her mind, she decided to inherit his desire, as if a spark of determination had awakened in her heart, ready to sparkle in the name of continuing the extraordinary path. This meeting and everything that happened became an integral part of her memory, clearly intended to remain in the corners of her memories for a long time. Kazaka began to explain why she decided to save the girl, as if his words revealed the depths of her kindness and determination, deserving admiration. Iris still could not comprehend the meaning of the words that she herself knew why Kazaka made such a decision, as if the secret of her motives was hidden in the impenetrable depths of her inner world. Max suddenly interrupted their conversation, warning that it was time to run, as if the decision to take important steps required immediate action. And just at that moment, a golem attacked them, threatening to destroy everyone together. As if a whirlwind of events suddenly took a dangerous turn, Max realized that his attack power was equal to that of an A rank, as if his inner potential had been unleashed, raising his abilities to a new, exciting level. The girls were ready to escape, because they had the means to escape quickly and efficiently, as if they skillfully wielded the tools of their freedom in this tense moment. However, despite their attempts, for some reason, these methods did not work in this situation, as if mysterious forces were opposing their plans for freedom. Mila suggested at least standing silently in the corner of the room so as not to attract attention. Otherwise, they risked preventing their escape. Max glanced decisively at the girls, trying to assess the situation from the corner of his eye, as if his vigilance was aimed at maintaining the safety of the entire group. Max's face expressed anxiety, indicating that he was lost in incomprehensible circumstances, as if the worry in his eyes reflected uncertainty and the lack of a plan of action. Max's face expressed anxiety, indicating that he was lost in incomprehensible circumstances, as if the worry in his eyes reflected uncertainty and the lack of a plan of action. She then decisively approached the enemy, preparing to attack, as if her eyes sparkled with determination to change the course of events in their favor. However, the golem's reaction was amazingly fast, and it easily identified the girl, as if its attention was so penetrating that it gave them no chance of evasion. Iris was already preparing for death, without even attempting to defend herself. As if acceptance of the inevitability had arisen in her heart, she faced the threat with wise calm. But for some reason, like the mysterious hand of fate, the golem suddenly froze, and the expected moment for which she had been preparing disappeared in impenetrable mystery, as if the plans had gone wrong under the influence of the magic of unknown forces. The golem, as if immersed in the world of a mystical slug, is covered with an incomprehensible sticky mass that has changed its appearance, as if the breath of a mysterious natural entity has penetrated its stone body, turning it into a mysterious creation. The golem, as if immersed in the world of a mystical slug, is covered with an incomprehensible sticky mass that has changed its appearance, as if the breath of a mysterious natural entity has penetrated its stone body, turning it into a mysterious creation. Iris, with open eyes of disbelief, refused to believe that they could stand in the way of the golem, as if she were faced with an undeniable force turned into an unsolvable mystery. The sticky bomb, a mysterious tool of adventurers, had its own special magic, its effect lasting only a few minutes, like a short burst of magic that could change the course of adventures in the blink of an eye. Iris, with a mysterious smile, offered them the choice of trying an incomprehensible drink that hid the secrets of magic or using a potion, as if opening the door to a world of mysterious possibilities.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.